Hey there, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Guys, I hope you had a good weekend. I did. I didn't make any videos, I just relaxed. Of course, last evening was a disappointment. I took my wife to a nice restaurant, fancy Italian restaurant for a dinner. It was always good before, but this time it was not that great because of the service issues, the quality of the glasses. I mean, they were not properly washed and things like that. So to cut a long story short, we had a very disappointing end of the week. But the US stock market looks pointed higher on Monday morning, signaling a cautious rebound as investors digest another busy week. This earnings week has a lot of reports coming up. I think 1/3 of S&P 500 is yet to report. So there is a lot of optimism out there. And I think stock futures are therefore higher ahead of the open, supported by expectations for strong corporate earnings and ongoing adjustments to the Federal Reserve signal that a December rate cut is not exactly assured. About 1/3 of S&P 500 companies have yet to report Q3 earnings. Investors will focus on tech, healthcare, and industrials through the week, with results from Palantir, AMD, Pfizer, AMZN, and others among the main events. We still have the government shutdown continuing, and it is delaying official macroeconomic data, including key jobs figure, trade data, and factory orders. The ISM survey on October manufacturing will serve as today's main economic signal. Federal Reserve members have offered mixed views since Chair Powell's meeting last week, and that has tempered hopes of imminent rate cuts and continues to drive bond and equity market volatility. Analysts from Goldman Sachs expect this government shutdown to have a notably broad impact, especially if it persists, potentially curbing federal spending and spilling over into private sector activity. Sector moves and earnings news consist of industrial giants which are regaining footing as tariff uncertainty begins to recede slowly. Caterpillar has raised its annual guidance after projecting lower tariff costs, while UPS and FedEx continue major cost cutting in response to changing trade rules and tax rules. Berkshire Hathaway reported Q3 earnings before the market opened, with EPS and revenues beating consensus forecasts amid strong insurance and railroad operations. I have plenty of Berkshire Hathaway in one of my accounts, and I'm going to look at that to see how it turns out this morning. Palantir Technologies is expected to release aftermarket earnings, with investors monitoring AI and defense sector growth. Other earnings in focus today are AMZN, Pfizer, Realty Income, Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Again, we'll be looking closely at Vertex because its fortunes are linked with CRISPR for us. And Asian markets are mixed. Japan's Nikkei climbed, but Chinese equities declined amid weak macro data. Crude oil prices were stable early this morning, while gold saw modest gains as investors look for safe havens amidst uncertainty. The Trump administration has imposed new tariffs on foreign imports, around 15 to 20%, but US industrial stocks are showing resilience as companies adapt to shifting policies. Now, I would like to look at our chat section. Hi, David Best. Thanks for joining us. Always nice to see you here. You're saying Iowa, Caribou Biosciences, Sarepta earnings after Bell. Yes, I hear you. Let's go and have a look at what we have out here in our indices. So I'm looking at S&P 500 futures. And what do we see? Okay, so let's go to S&P 500 futures. Now, friends, this is the line of resistance that I'm talking about. This line of resistance has prevented us from going above that from 28th of October onwards. For S&P 500, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So even though we see a plus 0.31% gain in the pre-market, it doesn't mean much to me because our opening on 31st October was around 6898.50, and right now we are still below 6898.50. So first we have to break through that, then we have to break through this resistance and confirm above the resistance. So I'm going to wait and watch what happens out here because from a fundamental perspective, I think there is nothing much out there. You look at market sentiment, it is bullish, but it's quite flat. MACD is bullish, but it's tending towards the signal line to cross over. And if I look at divergences, right? So let us take a divergence from here to here, and you take the same. the divergence is starting to emerge as bearish in both MACD as well as RSI. So I'm a little bit suspect of what's going to happen next. You guys may have a different opinion. Remember, I'm a retail investor sharing my thoughts with you. I'm not a technical analysis expert, but I think over a decade I have picked up enough to make some calls here and there. So my personal opinion is that we have a bearish divergence emerging in S&P 500. Likewise in Nasdaq, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles which are below that resistance. So first order of business is to break that resistance. There may be bullish targets like 26,630 from previous bull flags, but at this point of time, I think we do have bearish divergence to consider. Now let's look at this. Let's take this line here, and then let's take an equivalent line here. Likewise for the MACD. So you would see that there is the emergence of a bearish divergence out here. So that gives me pause. And David, if you're still online, let me know what you think about my comments on the bearish divergence. Dollar index is looking very strong. It is going from bull flag to bull flag, and it may yet reach our target of 100.14. So that's what I'm looking at for dollar index. Let's look at VIX, which is continuing to move up. Remember guys, I was talking about my idea about UVXW. Now that UVXW was a short. I was talking about VXX. Yeah, this was a mistake. I'm going to take this out from here. VXX is what I was talking about. Now VXX could probably give us a lot of bounce because it tracks along with VIX. But as I said, the risk factor is that it's based on borrowed funds, so the interest will eat up the value. So unless we have a quick bounce from VIX, that's a risky bet, but I'm still monitoring it. Now let's go on to look at gold. I think gold has got a little bit of bearishness going on right now. I want to watch and see if I can buy gold closer to 3887. I think there is a distinct possibility of that happening. But in the long term, I'm bullish on gold because US is going to continue printing dollars, either stealth QE or whatever, but QT is stopping. So we'll have to see what happens out there. I think that more dollars will be printed, value of dollars will be less, and gold will pick up. More and more gold getting into central bank reserves means that they're not going to be available for buyers. So if the dollars increase and available gold for purchase decreases, we are going to see a sharp increase in gold price. That's my opinion. That's the long-term opinion. But in the short term, I'm definitely wary of buying gold right now because I want to see if it's going to break down below 3958 and also maybe it reaches 3887. So that's what I'm watching. I would be very happy to start dollar cost averaging at around 3,900. Let's see. Put call ratio is, I think, a little bit bullish at this point of time. And let's go on to look at AI, NVDA. Friends, if you look at NVDA, again, I would start seeing bearish divergences. You may not, but that's my opinion out here. This is a diagonal line. If you draw a diagonal line here, just I'm going to temporarily draw one. If we keep on doing this for everybody, it's going to be a problem. But I'm just going to illustrate one point out here. So this definitely is the beginning of a bearish divergence in my opinion, because the slope here is much more steeper than here. We'll watch this carefully, but to cut the whole thing short, I would like to go and look at SMH, which is an aggregation of semiconductors. And I've drawn this line here, diagonal line of resistance, which also helps us to see how it compares to MACD and how it compares to RSI. There's definitely bearish divergence here. SMH accounts for around 35% of the index's power. So if SMH drops, it's going to drag down the index big time. So I'm watching this very carefully. Friends, you let me know what you think. Do you think there is a bearish divergence here? Do we have to worry about it? Next, let us go to Meta. Meta is definitely bearish. I have bought Meta. I'm still holding on to it. I did a dollar cost averaging just 200 Meta on the Canadian side. I can afford to hold it for a longer time, but the chart definitely seems to look more and more bullish to me. I was hopeful that we would be able to stay above 651.45, but in the last trading day we fell below it. Today we are above it. So the key question is, are we going to break down below this support? If we did, then I would definitely say that I made a mistake buying it too early, and I'd continue to hold on to Meta, trying to dollar cost average at a later stage when I think it's going to turn upward. Google is up 0.46%. Again, with Google also, I'm seeing a lot of bearish divergence, and I mean, just draw this line here to show you what I mean. Look at this and look at this and look at this. That definitely is the emerging divergence. Divergence doesn't mean anything as such immediately, but it does give a risk of breakdown. Amazon is up 0.39% in pre-market trades. Amazon still has a little bit of a divergence, but maybe MACD and momentum can pick up into the correct direction, but momentum is already very high. RSI is coming to overbought. So I don't know what's happening with Amazon. The key test would be whether we can stay above 241.95. If we are not able to stay above 241.95, then my next conclusion will be that we are trying to do a gap fill, and I'll start watching for patterns developing while we do the gap fill. If any of those patterns are bullish, then we may move back up again. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Apple is down 0.21% in pre-market trade. It did not meet our target of 277.51 and stay above. It fell a little bit short, and today we are down 0.21% in pre-market trades, and we definitely have a huge bearish divergence out here. So I'm thinking that probably we may come back and test this support out here, which is going to be at 263.97 for today. Microsoft is up 0.59% in pre-market trades, and it has got a support at 515.03. The question is it going to be able to stay above that? It bounced off this level earlier, and it's trying again. So for today, I think I would like to watch a resistance of 529.17 and a support of 514.90 for Microsoft. Tesla is down 0.27%, and I do not see much of divergence out here. If you guys see some divergence, please let me know. This Tesla is always tricky. I have shorted Tesla and I see no relief in sight. Maybe that is spooking me a little bit, but Tesla seems to be consolidating. Oracle is up 0.94%, still moving around this diagonal line of support, either up or down of it. And for today, I think our support is going to be at 260.41. AMD is up 1.22%. AMD is a very interesting case. We have a bearish divergence with the RSI, but we don't have a bearish divergence with the MACD. What it would mean to me is that we are going to see a range of consolidation, and it also means that the bearish divergence with the RSI is not as strong in impact as we might expect. So unless and until we see MACD also have a divergence, I think that we should look forward to consolidation in AMD. SMCI is up 1.33% in pre-market trades, and we still are within this diagonal line of resistance and a diagonal line of support. So for today, our resistance is going to be 52.79. We are at 52.65, and the first support will come at 51.37. The second support will come at 50.40. Both of them are minor lines of support. The major support will come today at around 49.35. Broadcom is up 0.96% in pre-market trades, and we can see a little bit of divergence out here, bearish divergence, and I'll watch what happens out there, because the bearish divergence counterbalances all the bullish indicators we have here, including the bull flag target that we had. Now I'm starting to doubt if that target is going to materialize. We have the second bull flag forming from here, but we have already come and touched the halfway point. So if we fall below 365.48, that bearishness will also vanish. So I'm thinking that we have to be careful with Broadcom. Next we have Palantir. Palantir is up 2.15%. It's 2.51%. It's doing extremely well out there, but bearish divergences are forming out here. We have got earnings this evening, and we'll see what happens during the earnings. Always they have surprised us with the earnings in a good manner. And typically, if you look at the last earnings, let us see if it's a trend everywhere. There is always a jump after the earnings, and then we come back down, consolidate, and then move back up again. And what happened last time was that in the last earnings, we exceeded both revenue as well as earning estimate, and there was a steep jump, and then it promptly came down, consolidated, and started moving up again, and then it has been consolidating here right now, and it moved up before the earnings. So I'm thinking after the earnings, we're going to have the repeat of coming down, consolidating, and moving. Past is not guaranteed to dictate the future, but I'm thinking that Palantir may give up some gains after the earnings. SMH is up 1.10% in pre-market trades. Again, you can see a huge bearish divergence for SMH, which we already discussed. I won't repeat that again. Tempus AI is up 1% in pre-market trades, and the resistance for us was at 90.19. Right now we are at 90.75, just above this. I'm not changing the color of this line, but I would like to see us close above this resistance, convert that into a support, and confirm above the closing of today's candle, so that we can say that this line of support has been confirmed, and then we'll start watching for any positive signals that we can get. That said, if you look at this particular formation out here, if you assume this to be a bull flag, right? We had dropped more than halfway down. So this consolidation is good, but I want to see a new consolidation on top of this line of support, and then some patterns which shows that we are going to go up or down. So I'm not going to put a target there as yet. Then we come to, what else do we have here? Let's go to Genomics and Prime. We have Prime down 0.40%. It's at 4.92, and that means we are going to have a minor line of resistance at 5.11. The actual resistance for today is going to be 5.64, and we'll have very strong support today at 4.54. That's the range for Prime. And if we go to Intelia is up 5.15% in pre-market trades, and we are having some kind of a consolidation that broke down. And out here, we are still very bearish as far as Intelia is concerned. This could potentially be a dead cat bounce that I mentioned earlier. I would like to see us come back and take out this topping tail out here, and maybe close around above 16.88 before I stop being bearish on this stock. So I would like to watch more candles emerge. Caribou Biosciences. Now this is something our friend David Best has been talking about. We have earnings coming up on 11th of November. I don't know why David mentioned Caribou out here. Let me see if there is something that we are missing that David is having a view of. I still have my topping tail out here, which is bearish. We have a gain of 40.32 this morning. Let's open this news article. There must be some positive news catalyst. 39 minutes ago. Cash and market was 159.2 million SEC filing. There must be some other catalyst out there. David, if you know that catalyst, please put it there for the benefit of all of our subscribers. Just mention out there what you think. So we'll see why there is a gain of 41% out there in pre-market. It's gone to 3.45, which would be somewhere out here, up here. So that's a huge jump. Such gap ups usually come with, a drop in values, and one could buy puts and hold on to it to capture some value out of it. But there has to be some solid catalyst. We'll see what happens. This could be an opportunity for people to sell some calls and buy some protection. Beam Therapeutics is up 0.12% in pre-market trades, and the chart still looks very bearish to me, even though we are up 0.12%. Next, let us look at Altimmune. Altimmune is down 0.49%, but it's still traveling on this diagonal line of support, which has been with us for a very long time. I'm going to fine tune this line of support and take it further up. So for today, I think our support is going to be at 3.97. Editas is up 2.92%, and it is still below this line of resistance of 3.21. Today we are at 3.17, and our support is going to be today at around 3.15. I'm going to mark this line as a support, and our resistance is going to be at 3.21. Illumina is down 0.51% after that huge gain. There was expected to be some profit taking, and I think we'll have to consolidate a little bit, and this is a good company and it's a blue chip in the making. So I would say that a consolidation was in order. I wouldn't be too alarmed by it. Market sentiment is also bullish. MACD is absolutely bullish, and RSI is overbought, and a consolidation is in order for Illumina. CRSP Therapeutics is up 0.48% in pre-market trades, and it will get a resistance at around 66.62, and it will get really good support at around 61.32. Right now we are at 64.30. Allogene is down 0.81%. Again, a story of consolidation out here. We don't know where it is going, but the longer it consolidates, the more stronger a foundation it will build, based on which it can go up further. Grail is down 0.47%, struggling to break through a resistance of 92.13. Right now it's at 91.50, down 0.47% in pre-market trades. The major problem for me for Grail is the topping tail out here, which signals very bearish tendencies. And if you look at the formation out here, it's also a kind of bearish divergence, I would say. So I have mixed feelings about Grail. I like Grail because it has got monetized products and it doesn't need a FDA approval for anything right now. And companies like Grail, Illumina, and PSEB should do well in this situation. PSEB is down 0.43% in pre-market trade, but it had excellent gains. Earnings is on 5th of November after hours. So I think PSEB is looking pretty good on the charts as well. A bit of consolidation could be in order, but there is plenty of room on the RSI. In the past, we have gone all the way up to 76.07 on the RSI scale, and we are far away from there right now. So I think we could stay consolidating a little bit and then pick up. ARCG is up 0.19% in pre-market trades. I do not see any bullish signs out here. Market sentiment is bearish. MACD is also bearish. Momentum is above average. We'll have to watch a few more candles out here to see if we can get any new patterns coming up. Vertex is up 0.81% in pre-market trades. Earnings due this evening after hours. So that's a really good spurt of interest in Vertex. I would be looking forward to the data that they talk about for Casgevy, so that we can get some idea of what CRISPR might do, and that could have an impact on CRISPR share prices as well. The interesting thing is that Vertex is up 0.81%, whereas CRISPR is up 0.48%. So probably the expectation is that Casgevy news will be positive news in the Vertex report. We'll watch that. Ginkgo Bioworks is up 3.16% in pre-market trades. Even now, I don't have any specific patterns. I still think this chart is bearish. Let us go to Precision. Precision is down 0.48% in pre-market trades. We had, I think this looked more or less like a cup and handle. Then we had a megaphone. Right now, I don't know what the hell is happening out here. I would like to watch a few more candles. At this point of time, market sentiment is bullish, but flat. MACD is tending towards the signal line to cross over to the bearish side. I would like to hear management commentary when they report on 12th of November 2025. If they give out some positive information before that, maybe that can help the stock. But there could be movement once we get the earnings, because there are some potential good FDA news that could come out in the earnings call, at least some idea of what is happening with their FDA approvals. Eli Lilly is breaking out above the regression channel. It crossed above. The question is that, are we going to be able to close above 870.29 today? If we did that, then we can confirm this diagonal line of resistance as a diagonal line of support going forward. But this morning we are back inside the regression channel, and for today the resistance is 860.76. Right now we are at 859.55. Let us see if we are able to break out and go above. Next, I would like to look at Ultragenyx. Ultragenyx has got no trades pre-market, and I was hoping that it would reach a target of 36.07. It hasn't. Now we await the earnings tomorrow evening after hours, and I would look forward to some positive news in the earnings with regard to their FDA approvals. That said, just look at Rocket for Inf. Rocket is still looking bearish, my friend, and yeah, it's not looking that good. I could also see a reverse head and shoulder kind of a situation, so it's looking pretty bad in my opinion. Now let's go on and have a look at currencies. Where are the currencies? Let's go to currencies. Currencies, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down 2.68%, still looking bearish. Reverse head and shoulder, if you may, and there could be further drops in Bitcoin. The support is going to be 106,209. Market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, momentum is below average. This could be a time to probably accumulate. Again, all my personal opinions, not financial advice. Remember, I'm a retail investor like yourself. So Ethereum is also continuing its march downwards. It has got some serious support at 3,668.25, followed by support at 3,596.15 and support at 3,511.32. I don't know if it can break through all of these and close below this, but in the past, once it had pierced through all three of them and bounced back. So maybe we have a bounce back, or maybe we get a whole lot of support from 3672.49 and stay above that, form a base and then move upwards. I don't know what's going to happen out there, but overall market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, momentum is below average, showing everything is quite weak. Now let us look at XRP USD, which also is starting to look very weak. It was looking weak. It has this diagonal line of support, which is going to continue to form the role of a support, and for today the support is going to be at around 2.276. That's going to be the support for today, 2.276. Let us see how it goes. Everything else in the indicator is bearish in my opinion. Now, having said that, I think we have to go and look at SRPT. That's what David Best was hinting at. SRPT, let's look where SRPT is. We don't have that in our watch list, so let's go and add Sarepta. So here we have SRPT. SRPT has got earnings coming up this evening, and at this point of time it has consolidated a lot, and market sentiment is bullish. MACD is mildly bullish. The volumes are very low, not much worth talking about. Momentum is above average, plenty of room on the RSI. Sarepta is maintained at neutral by Piper Sandler, and Hansa Biopharma reports third quarter. I don't know what this has got to do with it. Let's just close this out. What else do we have? These are all many days ago. So there is no new news report as such. There could potentially be a little bit of a bump for Sarepta. Let us see what they did in the previous earnings. They bet earnings as well as revenue. The one before that, they didn't do the earnings, but they excelled on the revenue. So this time around, the earnings estimate is 0.72. Last time the earnings estimate was 1.89. Okay, there could be something out here. 335, 530. I don't know the basis in which these projections are calculated by the analysts, so I don't have any opinion on this. The chart doesn't look bearish to me. That's all I can say at this point of time. So with that, my friends, I'd like to bring this session to an end, and I'll catch up with you guys again in the next one. Thanks for joining, and bye for now.